Hey guys, tonight we're diving into something that crawled under my skin and never left. A story so unsettling, I still think twice before climbing stairs at night. You ever hear a sound in your house and just know it wasn't the wind? Yeah, this one's like that. But worse, you might feel a chill by the time we're done, or maybe something breathing right behind you. So hey, before we open the attic door together, smash that subscribe button like you're trying to trap a ghost inside. And drop a comment after the story if you're still with us by then. Now, let me tell you what happened to Elise and Mark when they moved into that old house in Vermont.
It started the way these stories often do innocently.
They were young, married for just under a year, full of hope and Pinterest boards, when Mark landed a teaching job at a small liberal arts college. They left the noise of Chicago for the quiet hills of Vermont. They found a house just outside town. White. Colonial. 2 stories. Cheap enough to feel suspicious, but charming enough to override doubt. The attic door was one of those square panels built into the hallway ceiling. Mark had to use a ladder to reach it. Elise remembered asking, "What's up there?" "Just old wood. Maybe some insulation," he said, tapping the drywall. "Definitely not treasure. Or raccoons." They laughed. They didn't open it that day.
That night, Elise couldn't sleep.
The house was too quiet, unnaturally so. It wasn't the peaceful quiet you hear in the woods, but the sterile kind that makes you realize something should be making noise. But isn't around 2:43 a.m. she remembered the exact time? Because she checked she heard something faint. A tiny, uneven shuffle above her head. Then a soft tap, like fingers on drywall. 1, 2, 3, she nudged Mark. He groaned, half asleep.
"What did you hear that?"
"Hear what upstairs?" Like something's moving." He paused, listening. But by then it was gone. "Old houses make sounds," he muttered, and rolled over. But Elise didn't sleep. In the morning, she brushed it off, told herself it was the settling of the house. Vermont was cold, wood creaked, but the next night, it happened again. Same time, same spot. This time,
the tapping was followed by what sounded like a soft thud. Like a pillow dropping or knees hitting wood. The attic. Again. Mark heard nothing. By the 3rd night, Elise brought it up during breakfast.
"We should check the attic." Mark, holding a mug of coffee, blinked at her. "Why something's up there?" "I keep hearing sounds."
"Taps? Movement? Elise, there's no animals."
"I sealed the roof myself. No way anything got in."
"I know what I heard."
He stared at her for a beat, then relented. "Fine. After work, we'll look." That evening, Mark set up the ladder and pushed open the attic door. Dust fell like ash. He climbed up with a flashlight.
Elise waited at the bottom, arms crossed, heart pounding.
Well, she called after a minute. Nothing. His voice echoed, "Just old boxes, dust. Oh, wait. There's a doll up here. Creepy little thing." What Mark descended, holding a small porcelain doll with cracked cheeks and one missing eye.
It was wearing a faded baby blue dress.
Its hands were molded into tiny fists. "I'm throwing it out," he said, chuckling. Elise didn't laugh. She didn't like the way the doll's face seemed angry, like it had been caught mid-scream.
That night, Elise woke up again.
Not to a sound this time, but to cold. The room was freezing, her breath visible. She sat up. Mark was still asleep. And then she heard it. A whisper. Not words, just breath. Slow, shallow, like something was crouching right above her head, exhaling through teeth.
She didn't move. She barely blinked. In the morning, she checked the thermostat.
It read 71, but her fingers were still numb. The attic door was cracked open.
Mark swore he had closed it.
She asked, "What if someone lived up there before us? What if a squatter? Or someone was hiding there? What if something happened? You're spiraling," Mark said gently. "This is stress from the move. You haven't been sleeping. You're starting to see patterns that aren't there." But she had seen something. When she looked up at the attic door, she noticed it. 4 faint lines, scratches, as if fingernails had scraped the wood from the inside. Elise started locking the attic door with duct tape every night. 3 layers across the seams.
Every morning. The tape was still there untouched, except the noises didn't stop. She began to keep a journal. Every sound, every odd detail. Day 7, 2:42 a.m., soft crying. Not a baby, older, like a child. Long pauses between sobs, then scratching. Day 8:3. a.m. mirror fogged. Heard breathing behind me, but no one there. Lights flickered. Day 10, 2:40 a.m. whisper. You forgot me. I swear I heard it. Mark didn't believe her. Or maybe he chose not to. But the signs grew undeniable. One morning, Elise found small, damp footprints on the hallway wood floor, bare feet. No bigger than a toddler's, but with splayed toes and long arching prints, as if the bones were too thin. They trailed from the attic hatch and stopped directly in front of their bedroom door. That night, she set up her phone to record the hallway while they slept. At 2:44 a.m., the video caught something. The attic door slowly creaked open on its own. Nothing visible stepped out, but the hallway light set to a motion sensor flickered on, then off, then on again, and the phone battery, fully charged, died at exactly 2:46 a.m. Elise showed the video to Mark the next day. He didn't say anything. He just stared. We need to move, she said. We just got here. Mark. This house is not empty. There's something else. Something upstairs. Still. He refused. We'd lose too much. Let's bring in a priest. A medium, whatever makes you feel better. But we're not running from creaks in the ceiling. That night, Elise dreamt of the attic. But it wasn't just a dream. She was standing inside it barefoot, her feet freezing against the wood. She turned slowly and saw a crib in the corner, rocking. Something inside it, just out of sight. The smell, sweet and rotten, hit her like wet mold and milk, the kind that clings to your throat. Then, from the crib, a voice fragile, trembling, dry. Why didn't you feed me? Elise woke up screaming, drenched in sweat. Mark grabbed her, trying to calm her down, but something was different about the room. The mirror. It was fogged again, and this time, a small handprint was pressed against it from the inside. She began researching the house's history, public records, archives, anything. What she found made her skin crawl. In 1976, a woman named Beatrice Monroe lived there, a single mother. Her child, an unnamed son, had never been enrolled in school, never had a birth certificate filed. Local rumors said she was unstable, kept the boy hidden, homeschooled him, or worse, locked him away. One night, Beatrice was found dead in her living room. Suicide. No mention of a child's body. No funeral, no grave. Elise stared at the documents, shaking. If the boy never left the house, where did he go? The same day, Mark called her at work. There's something wrong, he said, voice low. I came home early. The doll, it's back. When I threw it out, twice. I saw the garbage truck take it. She rushed home. The doll sat upright in the middle of their bed. Its cracked face smiled. At night, Elise refused to sleep. She sat in bed, holding a flashlight and a kitchen knife. Hours passed. Nothing. Until 2:39 a.m. The bedroom door creaked. The handle twisted slowly but didn't open. Then came the sound. A soft thud. Something dropped onto the floor just outside. Then crawling, it was dragging itself. Elise held her breath. The flashlight trembled in her hand. She inched toward the door, pressing her ear to the wood. Silence. Then knock. 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 3 soft knocks. From the other side. Low. Deliberate. She backed away. The doll was gone from the bed. But behind her, from inside the closet, she heard a dry, childlike whisper. Let me out. Mark still refused to believe. Even after Elise begged him to listen to the recordings, whispers caught faintly in the static. The sound of something dragging its limbs across the attic floor. And once, just once, a raspy voice humming a lullaby.
It wasn't just in her head. Something wanted them to know it was real. That night, Mark agreed to sleep with the bedroom door locked. "Just to help you feel better," he said. At exactly 2:44 a.m., Elise woke to the sound of scratching, but not at the door. Above her, on the ceiling, she stared upward, breath held, and saw them. Fingerprints pressed from the inside of the ceiling paint.
10 of them, small, spidery,
moving. Mark woke when Elise screamed. He turned on the lights. The ceiling was clean, but Elise swore she saw it. She stopped sleeping, stopped eating. She watched the hallway each night, flashlight in hand, and waited.
One night, she didn't hear anything.
But in the morning, the attic door was wide open. A single trail of ash, yes, ash stretched from the ceiling hatch all the way to her pillow.
And carved into the wood of her nightstand, in shaky, childlike letters.
"I was here first." Elise broke. She packed her bags, sobbing. "I'm not staying another night." But when she opened the front door to leave, she froze. There, on the porch, was a shoebox, wrapped in twine. No name, no return address, inside a small baby's blanket. Stiff with age and a photo. Blurred, black and white,
of a woman, Beatrice Monroe, holding a boy.
The boy's face was scratched out,
viciously. On the back of the photo, in blue ink.
He didn't want to be seen. Mark finally gave in. "We leave tonight." They checked into a hotel, drained, broken. But the next morning, Elise found a note under their hotel door. No one had seen who left it. No footprints, no camera footage. Just a small scrap of paper. "You locked me away once. You can't run from me again."
That same evening, back at the house, the fire department arrived to a neighbor's call.
The second story was burning. Fast. Hot. Too hot for how it had started. They found no bodies inside. But in the ashes of the attic, they uncovered something that hadn't been there before.
A baby crib, half melted, and inside it, clutched tightly in the slats,
a jawbone, human, child-sized. DNA later confirmed it belonged to a boy, between 7 and 9 years old. No record of him in state archives. No missing person report. Just a nameless child, long dead. Elise and Mark tried to rebuild. They moved west, changed jobs, bought a condo, but it didn't end. Not really. Because last week, Elise opened a kitchen drawer in their new home and found something she swore had been burned. The porcelain doll, same cracked cheek, same blue dress. Its fist, once molded closed, now partially open, revealing something pinched between the tiny fingers. A photograph, old, faded, of Elise as a child, standing in front of a swing set. Alone, Elise stared at the photo in silence. She was no more than 5 years old in it. Same white dress, same pink bow. But she didn't remember the picture being taken. She didn't even remember that house. Mark examined the photo under a light. "This isn't Photoshop," he whispered. "This is film. Printed." Elise turned the photo over. No writing, but something scratched faintly into the paper's surface, only visible at an angle. A name, Eli. She couldn't breathe, because that's what her mother used to call her when she was little, before she was adopted. And just like that, memories she never meant to remember came flooding back.
A dark attic, the smell of mold, a locked door, someone crying.
Not her. Someone smaller.
Elise had been adopted at age 6.
Her records had said neglect.
Malnourishment, but never abuse.
Never siblings. She confronted her adoptive mother. The older woman trembled when Elise asked about her life before. There was a boy, wasn't there? Elise demanded.
Silence. Then, barely a whisper.
You weren't alone in that house. Her real mother, Beatrice Monroe, had a second child.
A boy. But Elise had been the good one. The one Beatrice wanted to show the world. Her brother had been sick, unwanted, locked away. Sometimes, Elise would sneak food to him.
Bits of bread, an apple.
She remembered now the way he smiled through the slats in the door.
His name was never spoken aloud. But one day, she stopped going up there. She was told not to. Don't feed him, her mother had warned. He doesn't deserve it. So Elise obeyed. And then, one night, her mother died.
And Elise was found alone.
No mention of the boy. No search. Just one child rescued. One life saved, but his wasn't.
And now, he had followed her. Not just in memory, in body.
Because that night, as Elise sat alone in the dark condo kitchen, the air turned icy. From the hallway, something crawled. Slow, wet, determined. The doll lay on the floor, face cracked, eyes empty.
And behind it, just barely visible in the flickering hallway light, a boy. His skin gray, his limbs thin and wrong. Like they'd grown in the dark and never stopped.
But it was his eyes that shattered her.
Because they looked like hers.
He didn't speak. He just reached out his hand.
And in his palm, he held a piece of moldy bread.
A gift, a memory, a warning. Elise dropped to her knees, sobbing. I'm sorry, she whispered.
I didn't know. I didn't understand.
The boy tilted his head.
Then he opened his mouth. And from it came one word. Stretched and hollow. Like it had waited years to form.
Feed. The lights went out. In the morning, Mark found her asleep at the kitchen table. No sign of the doll. No sign of anything. But on the window, drawn in condensation, one word appeared before fading away. Sister.
They moved again.
But sometimes, Elise swears she still hears it. A scratching. From the attic. Even when there isn't one. Hey, you're still here. That's brave. You made it through to the end. And I've got to ask, was that just a ghost story? Or did something deeper crawl under your skin? Because if you've ever heard a sound at night you couldn't explain, if you've ever looked at an attic door a little too long, well, maybe now you know why. And hey, if you're still breathing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment what freaked you out most. I dare you, sleep tight.
I'll see you tomorrow night, unless someone else gets to you first.